So today I am reviewing Boys in the Valley by Philip Fracassi. This book was very entertaining, and it's probably one of the best books so far for me in 2024. Just from the jump, this book right here gives me Lord of the Flies slash The Exorcist vibes. When you read this, you'll see what I'm talking about. You have a group of boys who chooses sides. And if you remember Lord of the Flies, it was like that. But before we get into that part of choosing sides, let's start from the beginning. The beginning of the book starts with Peter and his mom and dad in their little, I guess, cabin. This takes place in the late 1800s through the early 1900s, but the beginning of the book takes place in Pennsylvania in the late 1880s. They're going through some family drama with the main character, Peter's dad. I guess he was out all night, hanging with the guys, and the mother didn't like it, and she was telling him that basically, he wasn't shit. So they got into an argument, and one thing led to another where, well, some domestic stuff happens. I'm trying not to spoil it, but they end up having a tragic incident, and the whole house, catches fire, and Peter's the only survivor. So he gets taken to this orphanage years later in the country in Pennsylvania. But some things, before I get to the orphanage part, some things I thought was kind of weird about Peter's parents. The father called the mother Sissy, and I don't know, the author really didn't go into detail, but it had me wondering if Peter's parents, were in some kind of incestuous, I can't even say that, incestuous relationship, because I don't know, it could be her nickname, but he called her Sissy, so kind of worried about that. But anywho, but the book later takes place, like I said, in it skips to the early 1900s when Peter's now at the St. Vincent's orphanage, where they get little boys who are, like, I guess, castaways, running the streets or homeless basically, and they send them to this orphanage, where these three fathers take care of them. I think it's Father White, Father Andrew, and the head priest, Father Poole, with this shady character named Johnson. He's not a priest. He's, I think, an ex-con that's, I guess, trying to avoid being locked up for a long time. So they sent him to this orphanage, I guess, to help out, so he doesn't go to prison. So he's just a brother there. He's a big burly guy. So they're at this orphanage years later, and Peter's now 16, and he's studying to become a priest by his, I guess, new father figure, Father Andrew. Father Andrew wants him to become a priest, but Peter's kind of reluctant. He's like young. He doesn't really know what he wants to do, but he knows that he loves this girl, Grace. He's smitten with her. She's the farmer's daughter. There's a farm a couple miles down, I guess, the road where the orphanage get their supplies. So he's infatuated with her. He's kind of conflicted, priesthood or becoming a man, and wanting to take Grace out and whatever. But just to move it along with this review, so the orphanage has about, I guess, 30 boys. Peter and this other guy named David are like they're like the teens. They're around the same age, like 16. There's a few that's probably like 13, 12. I think the youngest are like 5 years old. So there's a group of them. But Father Poole, he has strict rules. The kids must have their hands clean before they eat. If they don't pass inspection when they get their hands checked, they're not going to eat. And if they get disobedient, they get sent outside to what's called the hole. It's kind of like a mini little cell, but it's in the ground, and they get sent in there with no food and locked outside in the elements. So it's kind of punishment that they have to go through if they don't wash their hands and if they don't obey. So there's this one kid named Bartholomew who kind of gets unruly with the priest in the orphanage, and he gets sent to the hole. And he's there overnight, but before night breaks, all hell breaks loose because the local sheriff takes this man who seems to be possessed, and he wants the priest to save him. He wants Father Poole to save him, and all hell breaks loose. And then basically, I guess they try to exorcise this man, and that's when all hell breaks loose. And then once they do that, the demon, I guess, transfers his soul into Bartholomew that's out in the hole. And that's where the division starts. Bartholomew is possessed by this demon, and then he takes a certain group of kids, and he kind of molds them, and he leads them to basically wrongdoing, and then that's when shit hits the fan. So basically, this is like a secluded religious type of book, type of horror. That's what makes it kind of creepy, because these boys are secluded, and then when you bring in exorcisms and stuff like that, it has its tension right there. I'm trying not to go into detail without spoiling it, but Boys in the Valley is a good book. You guys need to check it out. It has lots of, doesn't really have any twists in it. It's just good writing, Some of the negatives is the author is trying to write dialogue for boys, but boys usually don't talk like that. These boys are talking like adults, but you just got to give it the benefit of doubt. He's trying to tell a story, which is a good story, but without spoiling this, you guys need to check out Boys in the Valley. I do recommend this. It's a good, I would say it is horror, but it's not that bad. It's a good book. I think what really makes it creepy too is a lot of the stuff is involving kids. Kids doing things that kids that are like elementary school age shouldn't be doing. That's why I said it's kind of like Lord of the Flies. Kids attacking other kids and taking sides. But you guys, check this out for yourself. You'll enjoy it. Boys in the Valley. Good read.